Welcome to another exciting edition of American Warrior Radio, the place to be for news, notes, interviews, and current events for all issues military and veteran related. If you or someone you know has ever worn the uniform of the U.S. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, or National Guard or Reserves, you come to the right place. American Warrior Radio, right here on the Talk to Me station, AM 1300 WMEL, and online worldwide at 1300WMEL.com, sponsored by AVET Project. Folks, you all know this program is all about supporting our troops and their families, both past and present. So please, get comfortable, grab a cup of iced tea, because I know it's a warm day out there. It's a beautiful day here on the Space Coast. And I also want you to grab a pen and paper, because you also know we're always efforting to bring you important information that you can use and share with others. With that said, let's roll down the runway and get this show off the ground. You all know me. My name is Garen Cohn. I'm an Air Force veteran, retired legal advocate for veterans, and founder of AVET Project. But I never fly through the airwaves alone. Since my co-host Glenn McGuffey is away today, let me introduce my guest co-host, Stu Smith, a disabled Army veteran, entrepreneur, and so much more. Say hello, Stu.
Thanks very much, Garen. Hello, Space Coast, and hello, fellow veterans.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's a wonderful day out, isn't it?
It is just absolutely gorgeous, no matter what the weather is like outside. The Space Coast is a perfect place to be, especially if you're one of the 20% of us who are veterans here in Brevard County.
That's a good number to have, and folks, we know you're listening. We encourage you to make phone calls. Run to your neighbor's house. Tell them, oh, get on AM 1300 WMEL. Not just for American Warrior Radio, but all the other fine programming that the Harper Brothers and the staff here brings you every week, day in and day out. Now, American Warrior Radio is pretty much focused, or very much focused, like a laser beam, on military and veterans issues. But I got a little housekeeping before we get into we got some hot topics for you today. But I want to cover a couple things. First, you've heard me talk about this before. There is a bill that has passed the House. It is called the Deployed Troops Support Act of 2014. Now, we had this passed through the House last year, through the last Congress. It went to the Senate, and it died because somebody, when they were considering the NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act, of which the Deployed Troops Support Act of 2013 was a part of, and it was page 587. Guess what they did, Stu?
I can only guess, Garen. We didn't get what we needed, that's for sure.
Nope, they pulled that page out. A 587, 1100 page bill, and they pulled this out. We're going at it again. It's already passed the House in bipartisan fashion. Just keep this in mind. It's the Deployed Troops Support Act of 2014, and we want to thank our local Congressman, Bill Posey, for helping AVET Project get this through. And now the Senate has to take action in support of this. This is why I asked you to grab the pen and paper. Stu, let's share some numbers with them. Bill Nelson, our senator here, how can they reach him?
Yeah, you can reach Bill at 407-872-7161, or his 888 number is 888-761-4091. You can also reach him by email at billnelson.senate.gov/contact-bill. And all that information will be available to you at the AVET website. And you can also reach Marco Rubio.
He's our other senator. Give him that contact info.
Absolutely. 407-254-2573 or 866-630-7106. And let him know about your support of this bill. It's amazing that we've lost it just due to some paperwork shuffle when we have all this support. So if you can let your legislators know, it'll be perfect.
Exactly, and this is for here in Florida. If you're listening in Mississippi or Tennessee or wherever, Montana, we know we've got listeners from Wyoming to Maine. We need you to contact your senators as well. Just Google them. Say Wyoming senators, and it'll bring up the numbers. Say Minnesota senators. Make a phone call, okay? You say, well, what can I do to help support the troops? Here's one way, because what this bill does, once the Senate acknowledges it and passes the bill, doesn't cost us a dime, folks. All right, it doesn't cost a dime because the program is already in place. It's called the Denton program. It's been in place since the Kennedy administration, and simply put, it allows nonprofits like AVET Project and others, churches, whoever, Anybody that wants to help our deployed troops, not just combat deployed, but deployed troops. So what does that mean, Stu? They could be in Korea, they could be in Japan.
Absolutely deployed all across the world, and folks don't really realize how many places the services are and service members are and what they need from us, as far as support and help. Knowing that longtime listeners understand this, let's tell them a little bit, Garen, about the details behind it. It's amazing that we can do some things for some and not for others, and no one more deserving than our veterans to get things when they're away from home.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. AVET Project has long had, since our formation, since our foundation over 5 years ago, what we call an EEB, Empowerment Equipment Box. It's an enhanced care package. And we put all kinds of goodies that they want, the snack foods and socks and reading materials and games and things like that. But we also pack it with some really interesting stuff. And I just handed you a copy of that QRG. What's that stand for?
That quick reference guide. Those of us in the service understand the QRG, and this is for military and veterans, and it is just absolutely packed with information. Everything from eligibility and enrollment procedures all the way through how do you contact the right folks if you are in need of retirement homes or clothing allowance or PTSD and mental health issues. It is what we used to call in the Army. I know it's a little different in the Air Force.
Go ahead, tell us.
We used to do what was called hip pocket training. And we would have these quick reference guides right in the hip pocket, and we'd pull them out. It's the same kind of thing. It's information at your fingertips if you're a veteran to help yourself, or if you're a family member or in support of a veteran, give you the resources to get to the right folks.
And we include those in the EEBs. Remember, that's the Enhanced Care Package, Empowerment Equipment Box, along with information on how to journal, which when they're out on the battlefield or wherever they might be deployed and something happens, maybe they break a finger or what have you, and the medic may come by, the corpsman may come by and mend them. It may not make it in their medical records, but if we teach them how to journal, as generations in the past should have been doing. Of course, they didn't know any better. But if through our tools that we provide in these enhanced care packages, they learn to journal, they know who was there, who treated them, what time it was, what the circumstances were, maybe some other witnesses, what have you. It serves to well ground the claim once they come back and have to deal with the VA, Stu.
And we know the importance of a well-grounded claim. The VA is making a huge effort to help service members with their filing of their claim. And when you have the facts and figures and you have somebody that can say, yes, I was there when Garen was deployed and I remember him being injured.
By these statements?
Yep, by these statements and with the dates and times, it's perfect.
And these care packages that we include all that good stuff in, it costs AVET Project $15.45. $15.45. When we began AVET Project, I think it was $11.90 something.
And that $15.45, we're not talking about the contents, are we, Garen?
Nope, this is just shipping. Just shipping.
Just getting it overseas. Now, who benefits from free shipping overseas?
Well, I tell you what, under the Denton program currently, and we're talking for the last 50-some years, if AVET Project or a local church or whoever, any 501c3 registered nonprofit with the IRS, wanted to send goods or blankets or food or what have you to the children in Zimbabwe, or maybe the folks up in Uzbekistan, wherever it is, you can do it through the Denton program on taxpayer-funded military transports, so long as there's space available. What this does, and I wrote this back in 2010, it amends that statute, which is 10 U.S.C. Section 402. You can look it up. You can look up the information on the bill. Just go to avetproject.org and our Facebook page. What this amendment does, doesn't cost a dime. It just says, you know what? Not only can anybody support the aid to foreign nationals, but now we're going to take away the prohibition for using this program to support our troops. Because prior to this bill, and as it reads right now, and is in place right now, we are prohibited from using the Denton program to support our warriors that keep us free every single day.
Ironic, isn't it? And we already have space. I mean, we're flying the aircraft over there anyway. We're just putting the care packages and allowing others to send stuff that's so important when you're deployed. If you haven't been deployed,